So, as some of you may or may not know, this turd nugget has a very, very leaky fuel tank. Now, I've tried all the easy fixes I can find, fuel tank sealer and all that stuff. Nothing seems to work. As you can see, I've been procrastinating about this for a while, and the old thing's been set up for months. But I finally decided enough's enough. Got a 944 plastic fuel tank, and I'm going to attempt to bodge it in. So, the 944 straps go diagonally, and mine need to go lengthways. That's the main issue. So this is not going to be a straight swap, but I'm sure I can make it work. First things first, take the fuel filler neck and sender and everything out. Shameless Ferrari merch. Right, put the carpet out. Pop this bit of insulation off. Alright, so I believe the sender is under here. So, let's unplug that. So, the 924 tank has spade terminals for the sender. 944 tank has these little bullet connectors, so I'll have to modify that at some point. I'm not worried about that right now. I'm gonna try and put this carpet off without destroying it. Just got little 8mm by the looks of it. Pop this colour off. One of the bolts nicely came off for me then. Now, I assume those bolts used to have to come out, but they're broke off. So before I started this, I managed to get a 944 S2 tank, which is a plastic one, and an S1 tank, which is the same as this one, for 50 quid for the pair. But the S1 tank was knackered, as they all are, because they're metal. But it gave me a good reference point, because it came with both filler necks. So I've got all three filler necks here, and they all look the same. So that's one thing it looks like I don't have to modify. Also got this, if I need that. Pop this cable tie off. Start undoing the pipes. So I think you've got 2 tank breathers here, and the vent, the overflow vent for the filler neck. Pop these off. One. Everything's going to be a pain because it's been on there for what, 43 years at this point. Pop the cap off. See if that just sort of pulls out the hole. Ta-da! Now I can get a good grip on that. The other pipe comes off. That seems an overly convoluted way of doing that. That pipe that came in the top goes around there, goes through a valve, goes around to this valve, loops all the way back down, and goes into the fuel tank. I guess it's to create like a vapor trap. Right, that's the easy bit done. Close the old flapperdoodle back up. Here's where the leak is. As you can see, I've tried all the putty things, and they don't last very long. The fuel just cracks it all apart. Even though it's supposed to be fuel tank sealant, don't work. So, here's the reason I've been putting off doing this for so long. Here's the fuel tank going along there, and because this is a Porsche and it's transaxle, Here's the gearbox. So I've got to drop the gearbox off before I can even get to the fuel tank. So somewhere buried amongst the dirt is a 6mm Allen key. So I've got the handbrake on, it's in gear, so it shouldn't spin. See how tight that is. Well, that's just going to round, isn't it? After doing a bit of archaeology, I found out that they're not Allen keys, they're multi-spline, and it's M8 multi-spline. So, give this another go, shall we? Oh yeah, there we go. That's more like it. So, give that a little love tap. Get that seated all the way in there. As Christmas has just passed, luckily I've got loads of empty chocolate boxes to put the bolts in because I'm a fat git. This is Socks. Say hello, Socks. Off she goes. So what I'll do now is I'll go let the handbrake off, rotate the wheel so the rest of the driveshaft bolts are at the bottom. You know what? That's surprisingly easy. I'm going to go get a rubber glove, put that over the end. I reckon that'll want some repacking. Pretty gross in there. Bit of play, but that'll be alright. Car's got bigger problems. Oh! Ah, well, it's off. I'll leave it like that for now. Now to the part where I have absolutely zero clue what I'm doing. This is the bell housing. There's a torque tube up there. Goes to the bell housing that's bolted to the back of the engine. Instead of having a conventional prop shaft, there's just a little shaft inside there. I'm going to pop this cover off. Just have a look. Get it all in my eyes. You see up in there? That's that shaft that I was on about that goes to the front. Got this weird coupling, and then that's the input shaft to the gearbox back there. So what I reckon you got to do is undo those two Allen bolts, then slide the coupler back or forwards, either way, and then you undo the ring of bolts on the bell housing, these ones, and it should come off. Look, it's going to be out here. At least pick up a spanner or two. So I'm gonna unbolt the exhaust, get that out of the way. Whoa! Nice. What? Gonna attempt to get this bolt out. Ah, I expected that to be much harder than that, to be honest. Because why would it be the same size? Where's my socket? Oh. 2 down. Looks like there's only 4, which would be very nice. 3 down. So I reckon that black thing there is another plug to get to the other bolt. So I'm going to try and pop that out. Pop. I managed to get the clutch wedged down. Turn this to a place where I can get the socket on it. And we're going to give it a go. So I've gone through the hole in the side of the bell housing, up into there. So I managed to get that slid all the way forwards, as you can see. So that's the input shaft, that's the torque tube. So, in theory, if I undo the gearbox mounts, this should come off like a normal gearbox. It's got a gearbox bolt here. It's a 17. Whoa. Whoa. Last but not least, now I can get to it a bit easier. Got to disconnect the gear selector rod. So I got the bolt out, but I think I need to give it a good tap. Whee! So, one would hope it will come out now. Ta-da! There you go, you can get a better look at the coupler there. Basically just clamps down. The bolt lines up with that slot and that just clamps that in place. Right, so that's phase one complete. Gearbox is out. Now I can get to the tank straps. Get the tank out. It seems like my car has two fuel pumps. I've obviously got one here. Looks like there's one in the bottom as well, which is quite weird because neither of those tanks I took apart had a pump inside the tank. This thread is completely stripped. I'll have to do something about that. So try and drain the last bit of fuel out of it now, I guess. Good thing I've got this handy drip tray. Also acts as a can. It's quite nice. Obviously when you've filled it up, put the plug back in, becomes a good can. Alright, let's undo this pipe. See if we can actually get it in the can. Desperate need of being changed anyway. Oh, everywhere. Alright, let's have a go at undoing these straps. Oh no! Jubbly jubbly. I'm just going to cut this pipe because I won't be using it again. Oh, there we go. So that right there is my 924 tank. This is obviously the 944 S2 tank. As you can see, it's not going to be a direct swap, but apparently it's doable. So off we go. So there's the fuel pump from the 924 tank. I'll give that filter a clean out. Blah blah blah. But just want to check. Marvellous.